to set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
It's award season, aka Padders. And we're doing something very special with the AKA Pad Film Buff podcast tonight. Yes, I realize this is a later drop. We're building everything out to you so you guys can get 2 drops a day, 2 episodes a day. But right now, it's award season. We're doing the best of, and I'm calling it the best of just for the lack of a better definition of it. But these are going to be the films I'm absolutely impressed by, films that maybe like captured me a certain way, pulled me in, and sometimes they just get the dopamine running. And it doesn't mean these films are more perfect than their counterparts or that they're perfect films of themselves. Often, I am drawn to films that have imperfections, because it's the viewing experience. It doesn't have to be a perfect movie to have a perfect viewing experience. And I want to breach it here with Good Boy. And I do want to talk to you guys about with the director, Ben Curtis Leonberg. I love Curtis is such a good name. We have the Curtis Center here in Philly, on Locust Street, and I love walking by it just because the name Curtis is just it's a good name. So Ben comes from came to New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey, literally 10 minutes over the bridge. He's a local guy, and I just thought a little bit with the local connection. You guys know I'm in Center City, Philadelphia. Let's just start here. And the 31 Days of Dread, which is where we do one horror movie a year. Good Boy was on the docket for that this year. I even had it on the docket of the 31 Days of Dread Extended, which that's where we elongate the podcast event, where I believe this year we hit year 9. No one's done more horror movies than myself, aka Patters. We have a long lineage with this genre. And I've often said around that time that the new filmmakers of today will come up through horror, and it's a true filmmaker's playground, and the allegories are there, where just like simple things where horror is a reflection of ourselves. We know some of it with science fiction. Science fiction usually is a reflection of our society, so on and so forth, right? But Ben here, he really did something special, and I want to compare what he did to a movie we discussed about a year ago, the Oscar winner, Flow, the best animated film of that year. Now, I said it should have been Wild Robot, or Robot Wild, the DreamWorks one. That movie. The whole duck flying sequence in that movie, if that's not what filmmaking is all about, where you just capture the mind and spirit and the heart of the audience, I don't know what. But Wild Robot should have got Best Picture. And a part of my analysis for Flow was that I think from like an observation, like storytelling standpoint, where we observe storytelling, we put on a pedestal when something is silent, when something I used the analogy, it was called the silent issue of G.I. Joe, where they didn't have time to finish the issue, and they put the issue out with no captions, no word balloons, and it made comic book history. It might have been issue like 38. Snake Eyes is on the cover with a Uzi climbing up a wall. And Marvel, like 10, 20 years later, did it was called Enough Said event, where all the comic books of Marvel's entire lineup at the time went silent. And silent comic books, it's become a part of the genre. And often, we're told that there's like a mystifying aspect when there's no sound and no dialogue, and the filmmaker is basically leaving like a lot of storytelling elements on the table, and now they have to be a perfect storyteller because they don't have like a narration. But Flow fails on that accord on every single level. Flow is just, it's like weird, confusing. What the hell's happening? There's like a flood or something, and some of the animals are friends and some of them aren't, and it's just hard to get behind the characters in that movie and to complete the 90-minute viewing experience. I'm not even sure I did that for Flow, but I'm not saying it doesn't have merit, but a lot of people like Flow because it was done in Blender, which is a free application for 3D modeling and animation, and it had no sound. So there you go, right? Give it the Oscar. Ben here, like, let's just say he does that. He does everything I just told you about. Everything to what's good about silent storytelling, and Ben does this with Good Boy. This is a horror movie where a dog has a perception of a spirit. And the ending, which is, again, like true horror fashion, if the ending doesn't stick to your ribs, did I just watch a horror movie? And the way, and the revelation we get at the end with Good Boy, which I, look, as a, if you want to call me a critic, just call me a film buff. As a film buff, we kind of can see these things coming. Because, like, as the movie marches on, sometimes you can just, it's process of elimination. Like, oh, there's only, like, these few scenarios left, or there's only these few characters left. Often, when it comes to any type of mystery or any type, like, any type of, like, whodunit, which is in all kinds of story, like, elements. Like a whodunit doesn't just have to be a whodunit movie. But often, we watch a movie for 10, 15 minutes and we already have all of our characters. So we know, like, one of these characters is behind it. And, again, that's the film buff mind. But the interest level for that is, oh, like, what are they going to do with it? How are they going to reveal it? Do I even care? I just want to know how this wraps up. And what Good Boy does, it shows us the world through the eyes of a dog. In a way, if you are a dog person or a pet person, and I know some of you out there are not, probably, from childhood trauma. Am I right? But I think dog people, they imagine their dogs this way. They imagine their dogs having an extra perception, an extra connection to their owner. And the owner for this dog, he's not a good guy. He's not like a perfect guy. We see him going through the motions with this dog, but the dog is there. The dog is loyal, but the dog also knows that maybe this guy's a little bit vulnerable. And there's all of these things communicated silently. We have sound effects. We have other things. It's not a completely silent movie, but there's just stretches where we're watching and we're engaged. And I know so many of you guys wanted me Bring Her Back or Weapons. Like, those are the best horror movies of the year. Those two movies, fantastic, innovative. Right? They shine a turd. They piss on your leg and tell you it's raining. Type stuff, to where we've seen those stories before, but they're repackaged and it's exciting. But the difference with Good Boy is that we haven't seen this before, and it's packaged and exciting. Good Boy, in my view, earned the best horror movie of the year. AKA Patters, get ready, because we're going to do Thriller next. The best thriller of the year. I'll give you a hint. This guy ruled the apocalypse. Love you. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.